Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have some pretty big leaks to get to go and show you guys the now canceled God of War live action game. Now, this is actually very cool to get to go and see because we've been seeing a lot of these very high-end AAA games from PlayStation. You know, we also had The Last of Us multiplayer, which in all honesty, I probably would have adored and loved, especially with how well received Factions always was with the game community. We also did see the Spider-Man multiplayer, which has been canceled, but also maybe brought back, which I also would love to play. That idea was more of like a multiplayer Spider-Man universe, think like Spider-Verse style game, where you basically get to be your own superhero and kind of like think an MMO, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14, Terra, S-type RuneScape type vibes. You're able to go, customize your character and kind of grow that way. But as well, they've also been trying to tour around with other big games and big IPs. And it kind of sucks because there's so many games in the PlayStation roster that have been seemingly canceled. I feel like they've probably wasted hundreds, if not billions of dollars, crazy enough, on games. Also, if you factor in Concord, that was a few $100 million. So you factor in everything else, it's been a very expensive mistake. But we have all the screenshots, cool things to talk about, and kind of brainstorm on what this game would have been. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. So subscribe if you guys are new, put on the notifications. And as well, we do have our giveaway going on, a brand new giveaway. Make sure you guys join and subscribe here. And our second channel. Second channel's been popping because I've been a little gossipy, over there. And let's dive on in. So right now, we're getting all these cool reports from the canceled God of War multiplayer game. And first and foremost, would you guys have played this? Granted, you'd want to see trailers, gameplay, etc. Like, don't get me wrong. That's like the obvious first impression to make sure the game looked cool. Would you guys, though, on idea and concept, actually play out the game? Maybe even at the end of the video, let me know as I kind of give my thoughts. Where Sony is clearly far from finishing the God of War franchise true. With several projects currently in the work, with a TV show for Prime Video, I really want to see 2D Metroidvania. I don't really want to play that, I'll be honest with you. Like, that's a fun genre, yes, Hollow Knight, etc., great games, Prince of Persia, but not my usual cup of tea. And of course, as well, they have other games out there that, all these indie games or the canceled games we mentioned, like the Spider-Verse, the Last of Us type style games. A report, though, at the start of this year mentioned that PlayStation was cutting 2 live service projects from its first-party studios. These were an unannounced game from Ben Studio, which they've had leaked before, and then the multiplayer God of War game that was being developed by Blue Point Games. And as you guys know, Blue Point Game has made some really cool remake / kind of spin-offy type style games. They've been proving their worth. This cancellation caught many by surprise, with details sparse, beyond the fact that it was supposed to be a multiplayer game set in the God of War universe. Thankfully, we recently gained access to development screenshots that offer a detailed look at the game's planned settings. And from this, we can also speculate on some other cool things. So screenshots from this project that were shared with us offer a good glance at an early stage of development, showing some assets and environments that were being worked on for that title. The first thing noticeable detail you can get by looking at the gallery, which we'll show in a second, is that the game was clearly planned to return to more of the Greek setting. This is evidenced by the presence of the Greek temples, classic artifacts such as pottery, and other details they can discuss. So I'm going to give like a little bit of a screen share over here for you guys because the game is looking good. Like to the point where I'm extremely sad that this seems like it was at this point canceled, but I also want to kind of put a positive twist on this. Because typically these style of games can also be reused for different future games. PlayStation on occasion will use other proprietary engines, but they do also sometimes make their own. So all of these assets that we're seeing, that were made specifically for this game, can be reused for different God of War games. Whether it's remakes, whether it's a new version, whether it's spin-offs, whatever it might be. And this is looking beautiful. So they also did say it was a multiplayer game. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you'd imagine this game to be like. My kind of thoughts? Maybe think like a roguelike. So maybe think a like Returnal, Binding of Isaac, Dead Cells type style game. Or imagine you have like your own God of War style character, Kratos, whoever. And then if it's multiplayer, either you have everyone play as their own character, as you can just play all the other various characters in the story, etc. Or have your own, say, Kratos, and it's maybe like a mash-em-up. Think like a game where you can progress through the game and get stronger as you kind of go through like horde level styles. I think that has some potential. Or maybe it was a purely multiplayer, like think Baldur's Gate type style game without the turn-based. Think like actual proper RPG, where like you walk through with your friends, you see everyone walking together, you fight monsters together. Like there's a lot of concepts you could probably work together with this, and the game itself is looking nice. So in addition to the temple exteriors, we can see environments such as caverns and interiors that appear to have been designed to accommodate multiple players, such as the armory stocked with weapons and shields. Another interesting detail for those familiar with the lore is the apparent inclusion of the god Hades, at least in name. So we were told that Hades would have been the owner of the armory, and that's why I'm saying, what if it's like an intriguing, like, imagine like a zombie style game where you have to like base like a horde style. You have to keep progressing, getting stronger, moving up. Multiplayer could see it. That's my kind of thoughts. As well as the yellow sulfur pools visible in the caverns. So if the game was meant to fit into the established canon at all, the involvement in a living Hades suggests a timeline prior to the events of God of War 3. So that's if the game was meant to be canon, like legitimate as well. So no one really knows, etc. So another interesting thing to note is the clear Greek-inspired architecture. So some environments look like they were plucked from God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, which would make sense. You know, reuse stuff, save money, I'm okay with that. And there appears to be a female statue holding a mask too as well, which remind them all of the statues from the original game, all that stuff, etc. So that appears to be the statues of possibly soldiers holding a shield and spear, something that would associate with Spartans. So what if you can maybe go pick different types of Spartans too, as well as multiplayer stuff? You know, but their appearances also come off of that as Eljahar, the Norse warriors who reside in the Valhalla in God of War Ragnarok. You also see several weapons on display, so once again, maybe you can choose different types of weapons that like you want to fit your playstyle, and how we had that in the original God of War games or the recent ones. You have like axes, spears, etc. So what if you can have different types of characters with different types of abilities, and you can pick and choose how you want to progress through the story based on, like, say, the armor or main characters. There's a lot of potential here for multiplayer, but I am curious how a multiplayer God of War would work. Like Last of Us Factions has the game mode already in the games, so we'd understand, and kind of always thought that'd be like a DayZ, H1Z1, you know, Rust, those types of Minecraft, if you guys don't know those other games, or like you basically spawn in, like you basically have to like get your own materials, grind, find stuff. If you go and get taken out, then you have to restart. Like it's a fun gameplay loop. It's like an all risk, no reward type style, or all risk, all reward, or you lose everything, you have to restart. It's like a grind. It's fun. You know, it's fun. I like those styles of games, and that's why I'm sad about the Last of Us Factions. So considering the size that was previously mentioned pools is shown in the comparison with the player mockup, we can only speculate on whether they would have been a specific function in terms of gameplay. So no one knows, but it seems cool. Then returning to Hades' armory, we notice that one picture shows the place looking different, as a red corrosion seems to have taken over the area. This state is described as a curse of the armory, suggesting could have inflicted a negative status effect on the players inside. So this is why I was thinking it could be like a horde mode or other type of style game, because imagine like you go to round, think like COD Zombies. You get to round 50, and then after that, then maybe there's like curses in the map get stronger, bigger bosses and mobs start spawning. You have to like, it's like constantly eroding over time. Maybe the goal is to stop the erosion. Like that just, these are all speculations. That's the fun of these types of videos. Like you can kind of do whatever. So in the end though, PlayStation lacked confidence on the game, sadly, for their viability. And this is because they've been trying to get rid of live service games, and they've had really bad reception besides, say, like Helldivers. And example, as they mentioned, Concord. Now, I do think Concord was a new IP, so it has less like power and control versus, say, Last of Us or God of War. I would definitely have had a way more likelihood to try out a God of War game over, say, a Concord, brand new IP. So anyway, they did at least have on Bright News 2 as well. Besides all these other things coming out too for multiplayer games and other genres of stuff, there is apparently brand new job listings though for a third-person melee action game. Which in theory, what if it's literally just this game by itself? They just want to keep it more hush-hush and pretend it's not working. Because this does look pretty far along, especially if this is all leaks. Just saying. And as well, it could also just be using the same idea and concept. Think whatever weird ideas I'm coming with. Multiplayer RPG, horde survival games, RPGs like Baldur's Gate. And then they could, in theory, go and put this into just a new IP and see if it does better. Like maybe they didn't want to tarnish the God of War brand, or it wasn't similar enough. So either way, there is good new games coming out soon, and we have seen Blue Point make excellent remakes before, so I myself am very curious on what's going to happen with this all. So give me your thoughts. Like, would you guys have played this? Do you guys like the vibe of it? I think it seems kind of cool myself, although I'm a little bit sad it seems like it was canceled. Join the giveaway down below, leave a like, and check out all the channels, and I appreciate y'all for watching here in the first place.